So I'll be here today to give you an update about 4D Pro, our integrated text engine. 4D Pro has grown with 4DB17, and we have a lot of fantastic things to show you today. So let's start from the beginning. What exactly is 4D Pro? 4D Pro is a powerful text engine, entirely programmable, and fully integrated into 4D and its database, which is a key strength. It has an unlimited number of uses. You can programmatically generate catalog, invoices, report, send an automatic emailing running batches on a server at night without any user intervention. And user can also use 4D Pro as a classic word processor to create letters, quotes, or to modify templates. Moreover, publishing your documents on the web is just seamless with 4D Pro. So before going further in the presentation, let me recall you why we started the 4D Pro project. Oh, thank you. The historical programmable text engine in 4D is 4D Write, and it is widely used. 4D Write is powerful, but it's also very old. It's based on Carbon APIs, which Apple decided not to support on 64-bit platforms. Because 4D was fully aware of the importance of 4D Write for you, we have decided to do a full rewrite to provide you with a modern solution ready for the future. And this is 4D Pro. But we're not stopping here. We're not only going to give you the same abilities that 4D Write had. The point of rewriting everything was also to be able to add new features that we couldn't add in 4D Write. And by the way, 4D Pro already surpasses 4D Write, and I'll show you how later in the presentation. So 4D Pro runs on both 32 and 64-bit platforms. This means that you can use it in your 32-bit application, start to replace the location where you used 4D Write by 4D Pro, and you can move that step by step, and it allows a smooth migration. So now let's move on and focus on the development side for a moment. So 4D Pro takes advantage of the most modern concept in 4D. The concept and programming are very different from 4D Write, so yes, you'll have to rewrite your code. Some customers started to do it and are already seeing benefits. And it is true, it is some work for you, but it is work for the future. The 4D Pro APIs widely use ranges, which is just basically objects. And this makes your code elegant, compact, and so fast to write. And something else important to notice, 4D Pro has a small amount of commands, and it's another benefit of using objects. And fewer commands facilitates coding. And now let's talk about UI. 4D Pro has been designed with some automatic mechanisms to easily build user interfaces. This powerful tool are standard actions. So let me show you an example demonstrating what you can do with standard actions. So here is a simple 4D Pro document. I'm sure you all noticed the nice ribbon at the top of the dialogue. And if you like it, it's already on the 4D blog. It's already published. And you know what? This toolbar was created only using standard actions, no code. There are about 100 of standard actions for 4D Pro. You can control whatever you want with it, the font, the color, the styles, the margin, and so much more. Another benefit when assigning a standard action to interface objects is that the standard action automatically handles the activation and deactivation of the object depending on the context. If you want to learn more about the 4D Pro standard actions, I invite you to go to the 4D Pro tool that is done, I think, by Angelo today. And let's move on to discover what else 4D Pro has to offer. So with 4D v17, the feature set has become larger and larger. Beyond the UI part we've just discussed, 4D Write Pro makes it possible to create complex documents with an advanced layout fully by programming. We've added a horde of features: horizontal rulers, support of hyperlinks of pictures, image clipping to the paper edge, headers and footer management, and so much more. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so let's look at a mix of document examples, all created with 4D Write Pro. You can build any document you like: invoice, quotes, reports, brochure, flyers, newsletters, business cards. There's no limit to your imagination. So speaking about catalog and brochures, I have chosen this nice illustration with a wonderful sea view because I'm thinking about taking a vacation after the 4D Summit. But I'm not sure where to go. So I will need a travel agency brochure to select my next destination. So let's build one with 4D Write Pro. So we know that some of you have done some extensive 4D Write programming to create some very complex documents. And I'm sure you're all wondering, can 4D Write Pro do the same? So let's see what 4D Write Pro is capable of. And here, we don't want to create a basic brochure. We want to create a complex travel agency brochure fully by programming. So by a complex brochure, I mean a document with header and footers, with multiple embedded images, entirely generated by programming, by looping on database records. And here we are, a nice summer 2018 brochure. So let's open it in preview. We'll see that as a two-page display to see it better. So there is a front cover, an introduction, a summary, different sites with a point of interest, as well as a list of lodging, and finally a back cover. So nice, isn't it? You all sleeping? OK, so now let's close the preview and go to the front cover. So do you see the 4D travel picture at the bottom? This is actually an image in absolute position. The picture can be placed at a pixel-based position, exactly where you want, and you can move it with the handles or simply resize it, as we show. Something great with picture in absolute position is that you can put it in front or behind the text. And of course, encode images can also entirely be handled by programming as well. So now let's move on to the summary page. So the horizontal ruler shows that there is a tab at the far right side of the page. You can see the small black triangle. And this tab is actually using leading characters. In our brochure generation code, we have chosen a point as tab leading character. And now we're going to change it to another symbol. So let me show you how it can be done with the UI. So first, let's move our tab, just to show it's real. And then we will right-click to open the menu. So we go to the leading character item. You see that there is a wide list of predefined characters, but we will choose Other to select a custom symbol of our choice. All right, so we'll pick a small white triangle. OK, so now we've customized our summary page. And now let's move on to go to a page dedicated to a destination. So let's look at a page about Southsea, where you can find some of the tallest sand dunes in the world. As you can see, the destination page has multiple columns. So let's enter some text in the first column. So you see, there are really columns. The text is wrapping to the next column as we add more text. And did you realize that even if the destination pages have multiple columns, it's not the case for the whole document? If you'll recall, we've already seen the front cover and the summary page. In 4D Write Pro, multi-column can be handled not only for the whole document, as in 4D Write, but also per section. And that wasn't possible with 4D Write. Another example with multiple columns is the introduction page. So as we've already seen, we can have text in multiple columns, but we can also have images. So finally, let's go to the lodging table, which lists the hotel facilities for the different destinations. Yes, you can see that correctly. This is actually a table. It was the #1 feature request for 4D Write, and your wish has finally come true. With 4D Write Pro, you can insert and fill tables by programming. But let's check if they are really real tables. So here you can see how the selection behaves. You can select, when you are selecting a cell ranges, you can also select just a column, like the first column, and change the font size to, let's say, 11. Then we can enter some text in a cell. And you see, with table, the text will automatically wrap to fit into the column sign you've defined. It won't break when your data changes. Great, isn't it? More good news. You can also add tables to your header and footers, as shown on the Washington, D.C. page here. So what you see actually in the footer is a table with some text on the right and a page number on the left. And multiple column per sections, real tables. So you see that there are already areas where 4D Write Pro surpasses 4D Write. Now let's dig into some details and look at the code to generate the destination part for our brochure. So now we are looking at the insert site method that creates the destination pages from the information stored in the database. So in this method, we will first loop through the continents and then through the different sites here. So for each destination, we start by creating a bookmark using WP create bookmark command. In fact, the navigation that you've seen using the pop-up menu was done using a bookmark. And then we insert the description here, plus a column break. And so it will fit in the two first columns, sorry. And then we will insert the destination highlight. Now we use the new WP get elements command, which returns a collection of elements contained in the range that you pass to the command. And here, we just get a collection of paragraphs. And then we use WP set attributes to style them differently, whether it's the description or the two highlight part. And since we're done with the text insertion part, we insert a section break for the next destination. OK, now we're going to style our range. To do so, we use standard actions here to manipulate the sections by programming and split it into 3 columns. We also define the space between each column, as well as the top margin. Then we call WP get position to retrieve the current page number. In fact, we want to arrange the page layout differently depending on whether the page is odd or even. And next, we insert our 3 images in absolute position using WP add picture. And for each picture, we define on which page it will be inserted, as well as the horizontal and vertical alignment. Now, we insert the small map that is just at the top of the page. It's also an image's absolute position, and it's on the top left side for even pages and on the top right side for odd pages. We'll work on the header next. So after getting a reference on it, we are just creating a range, and we insert the destination name and the country's name. Then we focus on the footer, and I said earlier that the footer contained the table. You recall that? So you can now clearly see it. After getting a reference using WP get footer, we are actually inserting a table using WP insert table command. Then we append rows to the table using WP table append row. And for even page, we put the conditions on the first column and the page number, and vice versa for odd pages. As a next step, we get a reference on a particular cell from the table we created earlier using WP table get cells command. This actually allows us to style the cells using the traditional WP set attribute commands. Then we insert the 4D expression that returns the page number. So here it is $WP underscore page number. And finally, we populate the summary table for each destination. We first add the continent name, and when it's a new continent, and the destination name with a dash and the country. So that's it. You see that the concepts are pretty similar for the different parts we've shown. So first you create a range, or you get a reference on an existing range. Whenever you want to add, to change the style of the range, you just use WP set attributes. And if you want to add some text, you just use WP set text. So now let's go back to the slides. OK, so we've already seen a bunch of documents during the presentation. And they're all new documents freshly created with 4D Write Pro. However, we know that most of you have existing applications running for years, and you have a lot of existing 4D Write documents. Of course, you can import them to 4D Write Pro. We've already demonstrated that during the last summit. But I wanted to mention that the import functionality has been continuously enhanced feature after feature to ensure the best compatibility level. And again, 4D Write Pro allows a smooth migration. You can mix 4D Write and 4D Write Pro in the same application. It allows you to work on your application step by step. So did you move to 4D Write Pro? If you're still planning to or are currently on the move, don't panic, you're not alone. We've got an extensive catalog of material available to guide you through this process. 25 blog posts, 5 demos, 11 videos, 16 how do I examples demonstrating every single feature. And if you want to see more, attend the 2 breakout sessions that are dedicated to 4D Write Pro today. 4D Write Pro is powerful, ready for the future, and it already exceeds 4D Write in some areas. So enter a new dimension with 4D Write Pro. And now let me introduce Thomas Moll from 4D Germany, who will talk to you about internal code sharing. Thank you very much.